All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have an amazing interview coming your way. We got the one, the only, the legendary. Some of you guys remember him from Jackass, or you can be like me and remember him from his legendary music throughout the years. But we got the one, the only Fatlip right here, right now on the line. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good, my brother. What's going on with you, man?
I'm doing great, man.
Yes.
I'm doing great. I've been a fan for a long time, so personally, thank you for taking the time and gracing my radio station.
Oh, okay, no problem, man. My man, Mixmaster D told me he was a great guy, so that's somebody who I've been doing hip hop with from day one. First person, who uh, who invited me over to his crib to learn DJ and all of that. And we talking about early '80s, so you know what I mean. He said, "You good, you good."
And I appreciate that. Shout out to Mixmaster D for setting this up for sure.
Yeah.
But I gotta ask you, Fatlip,
So
like
what's
taking
up?
you like right back to the
Yeah.
beginning there, like what made you actually decide to get into the music industry?
Well, being from LA, there was a lot of prerequisites that was taking place, even in high school. The music scene back in 83, 84, a lot of records was coming out from New York that was just tearing the city up. Like we was, Run DMC and things like that. But LA had a dance scene, and like around 83, 84, and we had dance grooves. We used to listen to a lot of Detroit techno. It was a big culture in LA going on in like from 83 to like 85, and that was like right before hip hop came and took off in Los Angeles. And so just having that kind of stage uh, experience, and then also just being from the church, uh, singing in church, mom playing piano and being at choir rehearsals. I was surrounded around music my whole life, and then when hip hop came to LA, it just Rakim spoke to me. You know what I mean? EPMD, Public Enemy. I was talking about somebody that was like 19 years old. Uh, just discovering this whole world of hip hop that was coming from New York, and that's pretty much what inspired me to go for it myself.
And I gotta say, just experiencing the beginning of hip hop must have been a phenomenal thing to witness. You know what I mean? Because you had like I think out on the West Coast, the first hip hop artist was Disco Daddy. Man, he's still doing his thing after all these years as well.
Oh snap, Disco Daddy, huh? Yeah. Well,
Most
we had
definitely.
Ice T out here. Ice T. I feel like Ice T was, one of the bigger West Coast artists, even though he was from New York originally. I heard, but Ice T, King T, early artists from K-Day. But we also had, Dr. Dre and Wrecking Crew was also doing their thing. So and yeah, so that was what was getting. Well, that was what was inspiring me.
And I
And
also read as well that you actually started your career as a member of the group The Pharcyde. I have to ask you, can you tell us a story about Pharcyde, and of course, how did you get connected with the other members?
well, that was all divine engineering, because it was during the time where I was doing my own uh, endeavors to get a record deal, and um, I was going to showcases that were thrown by the record. I'm sorry, the radio stations were throwing these showcase events to where we can go down there and and perform, and then hopefully get connected or network with someone from either a radio station or a record company. And so and I used to go to them all the time, is just to with the same rap that I had. I just had like two rhymes, and I was just going to all of the showcases and doing them. And in this one showcase I went to, I met Jay Swift, who was at the time was 17, and he saw me perform. He was there with a group that he was producing, and so we talked, and It's actually a funny story because when I talked to Jay Swift that day, he was like, "Yo, I love your shit, man. Here's my number." For some reason, I didn't know too much about what a producer looks like, and he didn't look like a producer to me. Just because I thought someone that was a producer would have a limousine and gold chains and things like that, like the ones in the video. So I thought he would. I thought he was, just messing around, and I didn't take it seriously, and I threw the number away, right? So like 3 or 4 days later, I hear some. My girlfriend had a friend over that was visiting and sleeping over, and they were in a conversation. She was talking about some guy who was trying to take her out on a date, and he brought her to his studio to show off his studio to make him look like a big shot. This was their conversation. For some reason, I was listening, and I started asking questions. Come to find out, it was the same guy who I had just met like 3 or 4 days prior, and I threw the number away. And she gave me the number. I had threw his number away, and then just by chance, uh, I overheard her conversation that she met him, before, and she still had his number, even though she wasn't interested in him. She kept his number, so it was like complete luck that I linked up with Jay Swift, and from then on, because Jay Swift was a part of this workshop, that was a mentorship by a guy named Reggie Andrews, and I met Reggie, and he became my mentor. Reggie was a huge jazz musician and producer and arranger for Rick James, and worked with Stevie Wonder and Sarita Wright and all of these people. So that was my first connection with someone who had actually been in the record industry, and he gave us he became our mentor, and we went through his record collection one day, and every record that ended up on our album was from our mentor's record collection. So it was all luck, man. I met the other guys from Pharcyde at that workshop, and at the time I was still a solo artist, but we used to hang out and be friends and smoke weed, and we just decided to become a group. And once we did that, it was like everything just came together. It was a great time.
And I have to say as well, man, like one of my absolute favorite songs by the Far Side, man, is actually "If I Were President," man. I gotta say that is probably one of the most powerful songs I've actually
Yeah.
heard.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, man. That was if I was president. Yeah, we was in the studio just freestyling, really, just with the herbals, and just coming off the top of the head. I guess connected to that higher consciousness. Now, sometimes we'd be in the studio and just be taken over by the spirit of things. And that's what you heard coming out. A lot of those skits were just excerpts of sessions that be on the we would be on the mic for like 4 hours, 5 hours straight, just just going at it, and then yeah, a lot of those, a lot of the skits and the choruses, all of those things came out uh, that way. That's why the album has this really spontaneous, free flow to it.
And I also saw as well that you actually did a collaboration with a crew from France called Jazz Liberators. I have to ask you, how did you get connected with them? And of course, what was it like working with them?
Oh, there were some cool dudes. I believe we were on tour in Europe, and got introduced to them. I think they came to the show, and we all of us, me and Trey and a few other guys did a record with them uh, while we were out there on that trip, and I kind of connected with them on another level. So they invited me back out to work on like an EP, and so I went out to France for a little while, and yeah, came out with some smooth jazzy stuff. Yeah, I like the way that record came out.
And also, what your single "What's Up, Fatlip" actually can be heard on both the soundtracks for Tony Hawk's American Wasteland and the Youth Revolt film. I have to ask you, what's the story behind that song? And of course, how does it feel to know that your music is actually in one of the top-selling PlayStation 2 games of all time?
The top selling play. Fuck, man. I don't think I got paid what I should have, first of all. So it's bittersweet, but it's good to know that because that song and I think that video did a lot for I guess my career after I got out of the group. And it was fun doing the song, with Spike Jonze. And but the idea of the song was partially a joke, basically saying, the things that I would do like after I got out of after my rap career was over. I was coming from that perspective, just the down and out, self-deprecating perspective. Uh, kind of trying to be funny, but at the same time, expressing some truths to where I was at that particular time in my life. Uh, or maybe actually where I had been. It was really more reflective than anything. I wasn't actually, depressed and feeling sorry for myself when I did the song and the video, but just talking about things that I had gone through, and I just felt that it was an angle that hadn't been approached yet. So. But at the same time, I felt like it was in line with with our Pharcyde type of material, talking about not getting a girl and that whole thing. So, you know.
And I also do want to say quickly before we move out the topic of the Tony Hawk's American Wasteland and What's Up, Fatlip. I have to say, man, I really am. I do want to say from my side of things, I want to say I'm sorry that you didn't earn what was rightfully yours with that, because I really do think you should have got paid a hell of a lot more, man. You know.
You know what? And then to be honest with you, I don't even know if I did or I didn't. I just know that when it was happening, they were like, I don't even know if I knew who Tony Hawk was or how big he was, or because that was early 2000s. So early 2000 was, a lot of things were at its beginning stages, during that time. So a lot of stuff was happening. I remember this around the same time. I was, doing the Jackass stuff, and I didn't know what that was gonna end up doing. Even the "What's Up, Fatlip" video, like, it was just kind of like shot on a just a handheld camera, and at the time that was like extremely minimal. No one shot music videos for MTV on handheld cameras, but as we learned, things ended up, we ended up shooting things on our phone. Now, like I feel like that period was kind of like the starting point for, just everything that you see now. Just like people, just personally filming things on their phone. Minimal production, I guess. Up close and personal, kind of portrait of people and what they go through on a day to day. You know what I mean?
And you also made a cameo
But at
appearance.
the time, now.
Oh, sorry about that, Fatlip. Sorry about that.
Oh no, I'm just saying. At the time, that was we were used to big budget productions and with dancers and explosions. So yeah, so I always give it to Spike Jonze for having a vision of stripping down that like video, stripping it down to just the person and their personal story, because again that's kind of like what's really going on today. That's what people really care about, is more than the extra thrills and frills. People care about the individual and what they're going through, and I feel like What's Up, Fatlip was that's what it was, like a personal story. But yeah.
I most definitely agree. Spike Jonze is an absolute genius, man. He's worked with so many legendary talent within the hip hop community, man. He is a genius when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah, he is, man. Yeah, I definitely love working with Spike.
And I also saw as well that you actually made a cameo in Ludacris's Get Back video. I have to ask you, what was it like being part of that music video? And of course, how did yourself and Ludacris actually get connected?
Well, I mean, interesting or coincidentally, through Spike. Spike directed the video, and he called me the day before, and he was like, "Yeah, we need somebody for Ludacris to beat up." And I was a little hesitant because I didn't know if it would, how it would come off. Would it be funny, or would it be something that I would, you know, not be excited about showing people, because I'm getting beat up by Ludacris. Um, but and then when he explained that there was these animated fists that were going to be in the video, and so I was like, oh yeah, that sounds like fun. But around the same time, I had just happened to be always making this weird face in the mirror that I was like, I would like be in the bathroom, looking at myself in the mirror, making this weird face, and it was entertaining to me. But prior to the video, I was doing that like 2 weeks. Just anytime I go to the bathroom, I just look in the mirror and make this weird face and just laugh about it. And so when I got to the Spike Jones set, I was like, yo, you know what? Maybe I tried that, and so that's what you see. My face is made into this buck tooth kind of character. That's the character that I used for that video, and I love the way it came out. I watched that video to this day, and it's like I really love the way that video came out. It was a lot of fun doing it.
And that's what great actors do, Fatlip. You know what I mean? What you did was what every real good actor does. You know what I mean? And I've seen some of your work in acting, man, and you are a phenomenal actor, man. So I wouldn't doubt that at all. I'm gonna be honest
Hey
with you. I
man.
really did not think that was you in the music video until I did the research for the interview, and I was like, wait. Then it clicked. I'm like, wait, that's Fatlip.
That's generally what the reaction. Like, I mean, people that I've known for a long time, that I spent a lot of time with, they're like, I did not know that was you. It was crazy, yeah. Because and that was yeah, that was really what was fun about it. Because I think I was trying some different takes before I did the face, but then when I decided, and I wasn't sure if I should do the face, because if it was something that I was just doing, in my bathroom to make myself laugh, and now I'm on the set with Ludacris, and then I didn't know that could have went either way. You know what I mean? But just so happens that they wanted to do it. So, and that's what I love about Spike, man. Like he's just just open to do all type of anything that's funny and fun. You know. Uh, but yeah, man, I actually I got a I got a film that just premiered a couple months ago, actually. So yeah, I'm definitely moving more towards acting. So we checking for that.
And also, as everyone already knows, as we already mentioned this earlier, but you made an appearance on MTV's Jackass where you actually slid down an escalator rail. I have to ask you, how did you get connected with the crew from Jackass? And I would ask what that experience was like, but it's Jackass, so I just want to know, like, what was it like actually being a part of that show?
Well, okay, so that was an outtake that from a video that I had called uh, "Worst Case Scenario," and we were just filming it on the streets well, actually with an associate of Spike who I had met during What's Up Fatlip was filming the video. Shout out to my man Benzo. Um, so we was filming that, and I went down this escalator, and it was actually um, a subway. I start and that starts at the street level, and it goes all the way, as you can see, it goes all the way down. But I didn't realize how steep it was because I was used to sliding down escalators at the mall, and it wasn't until I got into the middle of it, and you know gained all of the velocity that I realized that I was in over my head. But luckily, I had like a few glasses of wine, not too many, just one or two, and so I was loose. And so I just had no choice but to ride it out. And then when I got to the end of it, I just like propelled and then crashed to the ground. But I think the wine helped me, stay limber, so that helped with the fall. And yeah, and then so it wasn't meant for Jackass, but it just fit. It just worked for Jackass. They actually asked me before that. They had actually asked me to be on the show before, but I don't know. I don't think I was. I'm not that crazy. Them dudes is crazy, man. I don't know if I could be hanging from a helicopter by my nuts. And I was like, you know what I mean? But so I'm glad I ended up on Jackass, in some way. You know.
I gotta say though that when you said the helicopter by the nuts thing, that's probably something Steve-O would do. And you're right, those guys are those guys are crazy, man.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like they go. That Jackass was, to me, was like, that's the only thing that could have came out at that time that could have taken attention away from hip hop. Because when hip hop was like the main, was really at its peak at that moment. So but Jackass came on MTV, and people was tuning in for that. Started tuning in for that more than even watching music videos. And so, yeah, Jackass is, yeah, man. That was, those dudes they really did something with that, man. Johnny Knoxville and all of those pranks, man, were just hardcore. Like you can't, you gotta respect it.
And I gotta say one thing quick. I see one thing just following up on that story before we move on. Before we move off the topic of Jackass, but I have to ask you, when they contact you to be on
Yeah.
it, did they have in mind what they wanted you to do? Like, because I already know some of them are crazy, so I can just imagine what they asked you to do.
I think after I turned it down, later on, Spike had explained the idea that they had in mind, and it was fucking funny. I should have done it. I should have did it. I was going to go into a pet store with my girlfriend, and we were both going to have on mink coats. And I was going to walk around and ask, and look at different dogs, and like my girlfriend was going to be measuring the dogs as if, you know what I'm saying, like as if like we were going to use the dogs for our coats, like we were shopping for dog fur. I should have did it. That was pretty funny. But yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm trying to keep my composure here. I'm just picturing that in my head, and I gotta say that I don't. All right, my apologies, but no. All jokes aside, though, I think that could have went good. It could have went bad. It really depends on who owns that pet store.
Yeah, man. Them dudes, like, like that's what I say, man. And I used to like give them so much respect, man, because I know like a rapper in hip hop, and like what I, the lengths that I went through to stand out and to make something that compelling, or whether it be a stage performance or spending hours on a rhyme. But then to see someone, put themselves in to use their like whole body for their art, you know what I mean, to entertain people, was like, yeah, I had so much respect for those dudes.
And also,
And
jumping
I
ahead.
thought they was coming out with.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry
go
about that,
ahead.
Fatlip.
Nah, go ahead. You got it.
Oh, I was gonna say, like so this year in 2020, you actually just released a movie that you were a part of. You actually were casted as a role of John in the movie Topside. I have to ask you, what was it like taking part in that movie? And of course, where can our listeners actually give it a watch?
Well, the first question, it was one of the best experiences ever because the people that I work with, Celine and Logan, hell, they're a husband and wife writer director team, and I couldn't, and that was pretty much my first real role. That was my first real solid role, and I couldn't imagine a better first first time acting experience because everything about the story and the character and everything, it was one of those things that I was able to, what they say, sink your teeth into. But wait, what did you ask me? Did you say how it came about? Or
Yeah, yeah.
but I think they just reached out to me. Yeah, they just reached out to me, and I think the role was, they were on a time, they were on a they were crunched for time actually, and it was going to be between me and Doodlebug. And I just did an audition on Skype, and they felt that it was going to work. I saw a lot of because this was their first feature. Prior to this, they had done a lot of short films that were very good, and then when I saw their work, I was really hoping that I was going to get this role. So when I got it, I was very excited, and so I went out to New York, and we filmed out there and in Jersey, and yeah, it was a really good experience, man. I was a little nervous. I was a little nervous because I had a lot of lines, but yeah, man, I put everything I had into it and prepared for it, and I was ready, man. So yeah, I actually saw it. I don't know what's going on with the screen thing. Messed everything up. It was going to be premiering at South by Southwest, but that got canceled. But it won some type of Critics' Choice Award at South by Southwest, even though it didn't screen because of COVID. But then also it got into the Venice Film Festival, and I didn't get to go. And I don't think the director and writers went either. But I think it won an award for a technical production. I'm not sure what it was, but they also won an award out there, and the reviews are pretty good. And we're just waiting to see where it's going to be shown. Nowadays, since the theaters are closed.
Yeah, hopefully
But
everything gets back to normal
man,
soon.
yeah, hopefully, man. But hold on. As soon as I find out, man, I'm gonna let you know so you can let everybody else know. Cause I saw a screening of it, and I was really happy with it.
But I have to ask you there,
So I
Fatlip,
can't wait for people to check it out.
what's next for you? Is there anything else that you want to promote? Anything else you want to let our live audience know? We still have you here live on the radio station.
Yeah, no, You're going to, if you ever was into any Pharcyde or Fatlip music, you're gonna be happy to know that I'm gonna give you some more because you know it's there's no reason to ever stop, and I actually have never stopped. Growing as a lyricist, as a beat maker and whatnot. This is what I do. This is what I love, and there's been periods where it's couldn't really find so much inspiration, but man, all the stuff that's going on right now, man, all of this is like, for better or for worse, fuel for the art. That's how it always works, man. When things are crazy, it's all the art. It always is always good for the art. So be expecting to hear from you. Can be expecting me to hear from me in 2001. That's for sure.
And also, Fatlip, right before we wrap things up, this is the time in the interview that I give a chance for the individual that comes on the radio station. Just a chance to give shoutouts to whomever you want to give shoutouts to. Also, your social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and all your up-and-coming projects if they're not already doing so.
Yo, shout out to my man, Mixmaster D. Shout out to Jay Swift. Shout out to my man, Reggie Andrews, my mentor that I mentioned before. Shout out to my family. Pop family. Shout out to the Universal family. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Canada. You know what I'm saying? We were supposed to have a tour up there. Of course, you know, things change, but you know, whenever things get back to normal, we'll be back up there again. We always have fun when we do that. And yeah, man, you know, and shout out to the radio station, man, for doing this interview. You know, chit chatting with your boy Fatlip.
And I gotta say, thank you, Fatlip, for taking 30 minutes out of your busy evening to come on the radio station. Truthfully, it was an honor and most definitely a privilege. But I do want to say thank you for the years of amazing entertainment with your movies and also your hip hop. But for now, man, I gotta say thank you again. And of course, man, try and have yourself a good night out there and try and stay safe out there as well.
Hey, you too, my brother. And